DJ. I can play some music.
Can you sing for us?
No, I'm not going to sing.
No, you can.
I haven't drank enough, and there's no microphone. I need a microphone.
Oh, okay. Oh no, don't share. Hang on. Wait, you got to unshare your
I
screen.
know. Why did I don't know how that happened.
I
Okay,
don't
go
know,
ahead.
but I'll share mine. Okay. Welcome everybody to our Central, which is also West and anywhere other islands, our main monthly team meeting. Excited to see you guys. And we are going to cover, I have some notes, some hot topic stuff that I want to go through with you. I'm guessing Michelle will jump on and share some PV related things. We'll talk about gearing up for the 15th of October. We got a lot of exciting things going on. So first, as always, we're going to start with some bucket filling. So who would like to share some gratitude for somebody either on this call, the meeting, or they don't have to be. It could be just somebody who helped you with something, something you're grateful for, some bucket filling. You got to like go through and see who's on. And find
Hey Lisa, Dylan here.
Dylan, hello Dylan.
Hey, I don't know if Sam's on the call, but she's just doing a killer job helping us in the KA office and keeping us in line and all the little projects that she has to do. So anyway, Sam's just super grateful to work with her.
Love that. We'll let her know. Yeah, tell her that. We actually had an executive team retreat on Friday, and everybody went around to talk about everybody else on the team. And everybody said that Sam was pretty much, you heard the same themes over and over again. One, she's kind of our rock, like she's really stable. She's very calming. And then she's very like warm and family oriented. You feel like you're related to her. She's got that great feel about her. So if you haven't, those of you who have not been to the Kihei office or met Sam in person, that would be a great thing for you to do when you're out there the next time and just say hello to her. So thanks for that, Dylan. Who else?
Hey, Jessica Miller here and Adam Miller. Just want to thank Marcus Springs for holding open one of our listings a lot. So thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it too.
Definitely.
Love it. Okay, anyone else? Some gratitude. That makes you feel good. You could do that at any time during this meeting, by the way. Okay, let's look at our birthdays, September babies. So happy birthday to all of our family members who have a birthday. Let's see if there's anybody on this call. You know who you are. I'm looking to see if anybody. Normally, so it'll be great. Once we can start to have some gatherings again, we'll do some celebrations as well. Oh, and then I want to talk about, yeah, I want to go back and talk about the holiday party. I forgot to add that as a hot topic. Hang on, let me see if Cheryl can grab. Cheryl, can you grab my notes from the printer, please? Okay, and some more September birthdays. So today is Ann Williams' birthday. It's the 28th. Ann, are you, let's see if you're on here. I'm looking. No, she's probably celebrating her birthday, which we don't blame her for. So happy birthday. And then Star just had her birthday yesterday. Lee, Aaron. Okay, let's go through some hot topics, which Cheryl's getting for me off the printer. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to do is go through a few highlights and notes from Mega Camp, which we're going to have a separate section for. So I'll start with holiday party because we were just talking about that, and I mentioned it on our last call on Wednesday. So I am looking for suggestions. Keone came up with one that we really liked for a holiday party. So normally we would be having a holiday party in the beginning of December. Historically, we do it on Maui. We do it at the Seascape restaurant, and it's great, super fun events. Big Island's going to be doing their own, and we were looking at what can we do that is, you know, safe under the guidelines, where people who want to physically be somewhere, even if it's social distance, could do that, and then other people could potentially join virtually. So one of the ideas that we're looking at is, Keone mentioned a, what did you call it? Lawn games and something like an outdoor.
Lawn games and drinking.
Oh, right. Okay, so there you go. So, right, and then we determined we didn't want darts that and nothing with pointy tips to, you know, that would be dangerous.
That was Lee Potts's suggestion, the lawn darts.
The lawn darts. Okay. So, so we're looking at doing something like that, and I just wanted to get your feedback on and get a pulse of like who would do something like that, or if people just want to kind of stay. I mean, you obviously don't have to go if you're not comfortable going, which is totally fine, and we'll be as cautious. I mean, we talked about doing different pavilions where we have no more than 10 people at a time. So that's what we're playing with right now. If anybody else has any ideas, we are soliciting ideas of what we might want to do the first week of December. So any other feedback or thoughts or ideas about that, the holiday party?
I know the guys from Lawn Games, no darts, but they have like giant Jenga, giant Connect 4, giant Battleship.
Awesome. So that's actually a thing. You're saying there is a place like Lawn Games.
There's an actual place, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Can you hook us up with that information with Cheryl?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yep. And how about the VFW as a potential place?
Okay. That's so weird. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Yeah, hook us up with that. That would be great. So that's what we're looking at. If you want to email me anything or text me, feel free. And we're going to have to probably pin it down soon. So we're looking at creative. And then on the Big Island, any of you who are with us that are on the Big Island, we were talking to Dan. So you might want to talk to Dan and Rochelle about ideas that you have for over there. Okay. Anything else? Good. All right. Okay. Other hot topics. I have a question to see if anybody here has worked with or sent anybody to Crescent Homes, to Calvin Beatty. Remember, we had the event for his company and the partnership with KW, and I'm just curious to get any feedback in terms of how that's going. And for those of you who don't know, we did form an alliance with a strategic partnership, basically with Crescent Homes, which is Calvin's company. And we did an event out there on the West Side and at one of the properties he had built. And it's basically, there is a referral program. So if you have a client that's looking to do a renovation, you know, anything from a minor renovation or remodel to a custom home build, you can contact Calvin at Crescent Homes, and he will look at the job, he'll talk to the client, and basically if they end up working with Calvin, Calvin will pay a referral fee. It's totally disclosed to the client. It's a great opportunity, and he is an awesome builder, and he also has he's unique in that one of the things that I loved about him is that he actually has a full-time team. So he doesn't get caught in this challenge that a lot of contractors do, where they have to sell out all of these jobs and people aren't available, or the work is inconsistent in terms of the quality. So he, you know, employs all of these people. So one, he will do different types of jobs. There is a consistency in the quality and in the pricing, and you will get it done. He gets it done efficiently and pretty quickly with high quality, because he's able to he doesn't have to worry about people being available certain days of the week only or being flaky. So any feedback with that? Has anybody done a consultation with him or had a client do that? Can you give me, I know hasn't been super long, so I'm just curious about your feedback, or if you've worked with him before.
We sent 2 clients to them, but it's just the
Okay.
very initial stages. So really not much has happened other than the clients getting basic building information.
Great. Okay, that's awesome, Don. Thank you. Good feedback. Anyone else? Okay, if you have further questions about that, let me know, or you can reach out to Calvin. He's very helpful and approachable. A couple things I wanted to mention to you. I was on our regional, or on our Keller Williams International call this morning, which is every Monday morning. And they were talking about something that I thought was really interesting, which is we've always had kind of an informal partnership ability and opportunity with developers and independent brokers that want to align with our company, which we've done a couple times here on Maui in terms of independent broker alignment. And I'm seeing more developer opportunities popping up. Those of you who I've had conversations with about, people that I've been in conversations with in terms of us getting projects. And so Keller Williams, Wendy Harrelson, who's a regional operating partner, she has kind of been developing this program where we're looking at potentially duplicating it, where we can offer a certain specific criteria to developers to, get their business, to be able to allow them to focus on what they want to focus on and be able to handle their sales and marketing side. Also, we can work with different people in terms of architecture, depending on what they need. So I just wanted to let you know that's kind of in the pipeline. It's at the beginning stages. That said, we've already done things with developers. So if you do know somebody who's doing a project or that comes in, to you as an opportunity, or you have a relationship, please, at this point, I would say involve me in the conversation so I can give you the resources that we do have, and I can help you and support you in moving further on that path. And just to keep your antenna up for that, because there's everything from really small development projects happening right now to larger scale projects. So we have opportunity for that. Once a developer really understands the value of partnering with Keller Williams, it's really tough for other people to compete. So I would say, let's have that conversation. And if you have the opportunity to do that, don't be afraid of it. Okay, so any questions about that? Any thoughts about that? Any opportunities potentially coming up? Okay. Okay.
Lisa,
Yeah.
maybe you can explain, if somebody does have that connection, is there a deal for the person that brings it in?
Well, there could be. The opportunity typically, so like if an agent has the relationship, then an agent is usually on the team in some capacity, whether it's the sales team or they're managing the team. So yeah, absolutely, there is opportunity there for the person that has that relationship for them to be involved in the project. Now, some of you may say, I don't have time to go sell a project. I don't want to be working on a project because that really takes your full attention, time, and energy. And sometimes you have to go months, if not years, without getting paid if that's what you're doing, and that doesn't work for some people. So if it's a referral situation, totally I'm open to doing something like that. Yeah, offering figuring out a referral.
Inside, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, good question. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we talked about on Wednesday, and just make sure that people are reading up on the news that has been coming out recently in terms of Zillow, what Zillow is working on and their next step in terms of employing agents to sell their iBuyer program properties, which isn't as relevant here in our market as it is in other markets like Arizona, Nevada. So, but just a heads up on that. So just do your homework. We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday's call, that Zillow is very much in the real estate game. They are a brokerage. They do have an interest in earning money on the commission. They have the ability to sell data that you provide, either agents or your clients, to them, to third parties. And it's something that you just need to be really mindful of in what's happening out there. And we'll see how that further develops. But, you know, really we'll see in those markets first what happens as a result of it. And we may end up having, you know, a Zillow brokerage here in Hawaii at some time with employed agents or working on their iBuyer program. So heads up there. Any questions or comments about that? I know some of you were on the call on Wednesday. And again, prefacing it by that they are an actual brokerage, so we do have to be mindful and careful about how we talk about them. We cannot be doing anything that would be accused of boycotting or antitrust violations. It's just an awareness. Go out there, read what's going on. The Inman articles came out, and then there have been some subsequent articles that have come out regarding what their plans are. There was a comment made about they didn't understand why they would make a move like that because they're losing money, especially given that the majority of their income previously had been from agents in terms of advertising. They still do have lead programs and concierge programs where they control the data and own the data. And they've made comments to that it, you know, they realize that it might be a big loser in terms of financial loss. Going to take a big financial hit initially, but ultimately they think it's going to pay off. So be aware of that.
They're long gamers.
Long gamers, the infinite gamers. You know, and they have a lot of power. I mean, they were able to really capture a lot of that market, you know, and started as a platform and a resource to find information. It's all about information, right? I mean, a lot of people argue that we should have never shared MLS data or data feeds because kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, and now they have all of the information and content. However, they are not the local experts, especially not in our market at this point. So that's something to really stress with your client base. Is Dean said it really well on Wednesday, which is that we have a fiduciary relationship with the client and responsibility, and we are the local expert and we provide value. And the entire transaction is not in a virtual state at this point. And even when it does go to that point, the debate is that people will still come to the local market expert because it's still a huge purchase, and there'll be some relationship-based piece in there, right? The whole thing, some people may be completely transactional, but the majority, we estimate that would be maybe upwards of 10% of the people. And everybody else still wants to have that fiduciary in that relationship. I also on the call today, Dave Eckert, who is the VP for Keller Mortgage, was on the call, and he was talking about forbearance and how many people, 4 million plus people, are currently in forbearance on their mortgages. So as we've discussed previously, it's really a time for you to reach out to your sphere, maybe send them an email, or when you do care calls about potential solutions. Hey, if you know someone who is currently on a forbearance program with their lender, please let me know. I'd be happy to offer to see how I can help in any way. You know, I'm not a mortgage solicitor. I don't have my mortgage broker's license. However, as a real estate professional, I'd be happy to consult with anybody who might need some assistance. So that's another opportunity. Has anybody had those conversations with their sphere, or has anybody sent out a touch related to that on this call? Has anybody had a conversation with somebody who they know that is in a forbearance situation? Let me look at the chat box.
I have, and a couple of my clients have been successful since then, having it put on the back end. So that's becoming very common across all of the mortgage companies. They're converting these forbearances to, back end deals and offering loan modifications. So
that's another thing we expect that we're going to probably see more of, is that, just like what happened in the last cycle, is loan modification options. And remember, though, some of that was a big mess in terms of being able to make that happen. They were telling people they needed to default. They have to be really careful, and you can certainly have them seek the advice of a real estate attorney to understand the ramifications of where they're at. They should talk to an attorney regarding that, and then you can really be their team member for real estate related advice. Thank you, Jeannie. Stacy says no, but now I will. That's great. Zillow is helping us to train our clients to do business online. Thank you, Zillow. That's great, Jeannie. And then Dawn, yeah, we'll talk about your workshop, Dawn, at 2. I've got that in the training calendar. Okay. Any other hot topics other than Mega Camp? Because we're going to talk about that. Keone, do you have anything? Marion, is Michelle on? Okay, Michelle's part is later, so.
Are we on this topic or any?
Just hot topics in general, hot topics.
There's still, we want to remind everybody about the, that you cannot give notice to the tenants. The sellers cannot give notice to the tenants. The buyers, when they buy it, when they own it, when it closes is when the 45 days would start. Leases, of course, aren't terminated, right? The leases would go out, but there is still mass confusion out there on that. Now, I agree the wording is not, it's not written very well, because you could interpret it the other way, but from legal counsel, they said that it's the way I explained it, that you can give notice, the buyer can give notice once they own it. The seller, if the owner is moving back in to the property, they could also give the 45 days notice, but it does not terminate a lease. They cannot give 45-day notice on a lease, right?
If it's month to month, so the seller can terminate if the seller's moving back into the property, meaning, the seller can give the 45-day notice if the seller is leasing back.
Moving back in, moving back into
they're not physically living there, and they're moving back in, or they're leasing back. So if the seller is living in the property and wants to lease back, or the seller doesn't reside in the property, and you're saying when they sell it and the buyer's buying, the seller is going to move in, is that what you just said?
No, they're kicking the tenants out and they want to move in. It doesn't have to do with the sale.
Okay, got it. Prior to, so just a situation where the seller's moving into their own residence, regardless of, they're not selling. So two separate.
Right. Separate, two separate
Okay,
issues.
that's why I'm asking. So regardless, so if an owner of a property, because you say seller, so it makes me think there's a sale.
Right.
So if it's an owner of the property and they have a tenant, and the owner themselves is going to go live in their property, they will give, and assuming they're on a month-to-month and not in a lease, they can give 45 days notice.
Correct. Scenario one.
Separate from a sale situation. If it's a sale situation, and then the buyer must give notice after the closing.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless it's a lease, then they got to run out the lease.
And then they have to
Yeah.
always honor the terms of the lease. Okay, any questions about that, you guys? And we said make sure you talk to your broker when you're dealing with offers right now that have to do with tenants, so that we can be sure that we're following that, abiding by that. Any questions about that?
I think in terms of relationship building,
Yep.
even though some renters might not be buying anytime soon, they can sure refer us business. And build our little community. I think it's really important that we continue to share the information about all the monies that are available, and that's good. If we have clients who are landlords and their tenants are not able to pay, and oftentimes that comes with a really bad relationship between the parties, you can get free mediation help, or you can go directly if you feel comfortable and are savvy. To MEO, to Catholic Charities, to all the, so I'm trying to put a lot of emphasis on that. I want to help the community, and they can get their rent taken care of. They
It's
can
another
actually-
great point for that email we talked about. So the forbearance, maybe you send the forbearance email, and then there's also a note in there regarding tenants. Hey, by the way, if you're renting a property and you're having challenges making your payment due to the hardships faced from COVID, here are some resources that you may not be aware of that offer payment assistance. I think that, I mean,
And,
this
and
is
that
where-
money,
yeah,
that money goes right to the landlord too. They get
Right
involved.
to the
They
landlord.
got to help fill out the paperwork and all that. So
I mean, this is, you guys, when we talk about why we do what we do, this is where we show that. This is where we really can provide. I mean, we always provide great value in helping people buy and sell. When there's a hardship or when they're looking to us and we have these resources and they don't, that's being their that's how you earn a client for life. I mean, that's how you earn referrals. And I say
Trusted
earn
advisor.
because we can provide value. So this is what it's about, you guys. And it's not gonna get, it may get initially better, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go through mega camp notes. I mean, it's certainly overall, the long-term economically not gonna get a lot better for people initially.
Just
So-
one last thing, and then I'll
Yeah.
shut up. It's common, I'm finding when I reach out, because the Outer Islands are able to get up to 1,500 from an organization. But if your rent is 2,000 or 22, and you're 700 short, and you've gotten 1,500, the maximum from Catholic Charities, you can go to MEO, or there's actually 4 different, and get the
Bank of
difference.
Hawaii, I think, is part of that.
And get the difference. I don't think,
Thank you.
anyway, so there you go.
So I have a question regarding short-term rentals for you guys. And I did ask Michelle to look into this. She's still not on right now. The question is, have you heard any changes in terms of the ability for people to now be doing bookings for short-term rental units after the 15th? Marion, have you heard anything about that in terms of?
No, and I just reviewed the whole COVID-19 guidelines,
Yeah.
and there was nothing new posted by the county. So no, and I've got the same thing because October 15th is happening soon,
Yeah,
right?
I
So-
believe, I mean, I've heard people are just taking bookings, you know, and that they're doing it. They're starting to book
Yeah.
for people that are coming in that don't have to be quarantined. So I just, you know, I asked Michelle to double check on that,
Right.
you know, to make sure before we tell anybody that, you know, this is what it is that we
Well,
have.
it's a governor's thing, right? The governor said this, and so it hasn't filtered down yet. We're all waiting to make sure the governor isn't going to change his mind. So,
Right. Okay.
While you've got me talking, I'm going
Yes.
to mention one more thing, and that is if anybody does have a seller who has a forbearance that has not been postponed, a forbearance requires a distressed property addendum.
Yes, thank you. That's all.
So why? Because it's potential that this seller can't make that 3-month payment in November, right? So that puts them under distress. So.
Thank you for reminding. That's a great reminder. That those things, yeah, we're going to start seeing more of those too, right? Being used, getting back into that market.
Yeah,
So ask those questions.
yeah. Lisa, Jeannie here. Hey,
Yeah.
quick question. So Keller Williams has the COVID entrance agreement form, and then RAM also has one. Does it matter which one we use? Do you guys have a preference? Does Keller Williams have a preference?
I think
Thanks.
Michelle defaulted once they created, we had our own first before that form, HAR form was released. So I believe once it was released, we defaulted to the HAR form. Although, I mean, talk to your broker, but that's what I heard her tell somebody.
So there's something different going on. I think, Jeannie, is
Yeah.
the entrance agreement is a document that you have someone sign when you're doing open houses or when you're showing property.
Yeah.
The COVID addendum on ZIP forms is for making an offer.
Oh, purchase, okay, so with that goes with the purchase contract. Okay, well, then, yeah, we'll have to ask Michelle for clarity, but in that case, then we use the one that we have that we created for the showings.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that guidance, guys.
Go, Jessica.
Well,
Jessica, did you have something? I'm just texting Michelle. She
You
might be-
just muted yourself. Unmute.
Oh.
There we go.
I'm gonna look for in my emails. I thought we got an email, but maybe that is the COVID addendum because it said no longer use this one, but use this one. So I'm gonna look real quick on my phone and check that email.
Michelle? He does.
Using the RAM one since it came out for showings. That was my understanding.
Okay, I just texted Michelle. Hopefully we can get her on here. Okay,
Just came on.
thank you though for,
It's on here. She's driving and she's on mute.
Unmute. Unmute.
oh, you're muted.
Michelle, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm not muted any longer.
There you go.
Yay,
Hallelujah.
Michelle. So we had a, so answer all the questions right now. Go. No, I'm just kidding. You don't even know. So
What
the
are the
last question, what we're talking about right now is clarity on the entrance, the agreement for showings, the COVID disclosure and agreement that we have for people to sign when they're doing showings. That's a Keller Williams Realty Maui generated form that they're still using, correct? Is that correct?
I thought we transitioned over the HAR COVID form.
Okay, so what Marion was saying, that was what I thought, but then Marion clarified that the HAR form is for to submit with an offer. It's like to go with a purchase contract. It's an addendum. It's not like a disclosure for showings. Or are we using it that way?
Lisa, there is, Marion's correct, there is that COVID form that you would do with the purchase contract, but there is a second coronavirus form that is for entrance agreement to the property.
That's an HAR form?
Yeah,
yes.
and someone said
Yes.
August 25th email, and I did update our documents in our listings in the MLS as well to have that form instead of the old form.
Okay, so in both cases, we're using the HAR forms now.
Yes, we are no longer using a KWRM COVID form.
Thank you.
Yeah, so pull it
Okay.
down.
Okay,
Please
Okay,
remove
great.
it.
Thank you.
Next question.
um,
Next question.
we're going to move on because I don't remember the other ones at the moment. If anybody else
Okay.
does, you can ask Michelle, but we're going to give you, Michelle, your own section for anything you want to cover, okay?
Great. Let me know when that is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about trainings. So tomorrow, Tuesdays and Thursdays is bring your own coffee and command. I think that's what BYOCC with the Tech Wizards with Latasha and Robert. Bring your own coffee or tea and chat about command. And yeah, I've got some really good feedback from this. So I know it can evolve and change a little about what you guys are covering, but it's a great opportunity to really get plugged in and ask Robert and Latasha any questions as you're doing your business in command. Robert, is there anything else you want to add to that? Okay, we'll let him if he wants to. Okay, and then we've got Win with Sellers continuing. So who here has been on the Win with Sellers series and has any feedback on that?
It's a great series, and all the presenters are very seasoned people, so I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's great to hear their own, so getting all the content from the course, but then also getting their input on the things that they do. So that is going to continue through, it's almost over, the Win with Sellers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into Win with Buyers after that. And so we have Win with Buyers that starts October 8th, and we have a lot of our own top agents and then some of the Honolulu agents also conducting those sessions and those trainings. So that next series will start October 8th. And just by attending these, you guys, things happen and activities happen because it's top of mind, you're having a conversation, you start to get into better practice with how you're consulting with clients. So really good content. Those are, you know, higher level training courses which work for everybody. And then Friday, the 9th, we have a special, for those of you who still have CE credits to complete, Wendy Oshiro offered to do a training class for us on reverse mortgages. And I thought that was a really great topic. We don't get a lot of training on it, and it is such a huge value to some clients. So I highly encourage you to attend the reverse mortgage training, and you will receive CE credit for that as well if you need it. $10, you guys. So 9 to noon, block off your schedule. And reverse mortgages are an interesting topic. Definitely hits close to home for me. I did mortgages before I was selling real estate, and I learned about reverse mortgages, and it was something I had tried to get my mom and stepdad into for years. And finally, they were able to get a reverse mortgage kind of at the 11th hour of them being able to do that before their income situation changed. And it's been a lifesaver. It's been a lifesaver for them to not have to make a mortgage payment every month. So I, again, highly recommend it. We also had situations where we were referring people who might be candidates for reverse mortgages to the person we were working with at the time. And there were situations where the children were not wanting the parents to get a reverse mortgage because they were only thinking about themselves. And you will see that happen too. So the more educated you can be, and you could give your client a resource to go to, like, you know, Wendy or somebody who does, Percy who does reverse mortgages, it's incredibly valuable. It's another great thing. And you know, with the people that we deal with here and the population, it's a timely topic.
Question.
Yeah.
Who do we see to sign up for that, for one? Two, if you don't need CE, is it free? And three, if you need CE, CEs are usually $40, so $10 is a steal.
Yes,
Exactly.
so you will sign up through our intranet calendar, correct, Cheryl?
Right now, I'm waiting for a flyer, so I should have that hopefully shortly, at least in the next couple days. And there'll be links in there. You'll be signing up directly with the school that teaches it and paying the $10 charge. And yes, it's an awesome price, $10 for a 3-hour CE class.
So
And that
Keely,
information should
there's
come
an
in.
option to take it without the CE
There-
credit where it's free.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's not, but
Yeah,
I will
think it's
double check
$10
that.
anyway.
Yeah, $10 is cheap anyway for that.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the question. And then Dawn is doing ninja selling every Monday, 2 o'clock, today at 2. Do you want to say anything, Dawn?
Yay!
Yay! I love it. I love it.
I think it's going pretty well.
Good. I'd love to hear, is anybody on this call taking it that we could get a takeaway from them?
This is Marcus. I've been on it, and it's very, very interesting stuff, and makes me feel like a lot of the things in there I do kind of naturally, like just not even necessarily trying to attract business more than rather than trying to chase it. You're trying to attract it. It's very interesting stuff. Thanks, Don.
Love it.
Hey, it's Jessica Miller. Don, last time you had a workshop on it, I took it, and it has, honestly, I could say it changed my life with building relationships, and just people come to you. It really, like, it just changed my whole mindset about real estate and people, you know, and I'm an introvert most of the time, and, you know, it helped with that too, and just, you know, being friends with people and getting to know people and them getting to know the real me as well without being afraid, you know, of them thinking of, you know, what kind of person I am or whatever, you know, and it's really helped. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tell everybody in the group every time that what I love the most about ninja selling is you're just going to do the things that you always do anyway. If I met anyone anywhere, I'm going to ask them about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams, and just get to know them as a human. And then what you find out is as you become a great person and they realize that you're a great person, they ask you to help them out. We've had clients that we met on the beach that we started just going to dinner with every time they visited, ask us if we would be their realtor. They said, we've decided to buy, will you help us? Well, that happens all the time. We probably get, I don't know, 2 to 10 people a week contacting us, asking us to help them. We
Yeah,
haven't
you guys
had to
are-
go out and ask anyone to be their realtor in 2 years. It's been fantastic to have them come to you.
Yeah, you've done great. You guys, I mean, you really practice that and it works. I love it. It's a great testament to how well it works. Rosalina says, Dawn covers ninja selling really well. The class is awesome. All right. Every Monday, 5 p.m., we have Monday Mindset. So that's today, and we combine that with the offices on Oahu. And there's some great guest speakers. So tune into that. And then Wednesdays at 8:30 is our company huddle. Okay, this is just another flyer for the next Win with Sellers, which is the last one, and Chad will be running that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Mega Camp. So those of you who attended Mega Camp, as you probably know, the recordings, basically the recordings, everything's archived on there through your portal, and they'll be accessible through November 15th. So you can go back on, you can watch anything that you may have missed, any breakouts that you wanted to go to, or rewatch the Gary's Market Update or Josh Team interviews with Google and Facebook, which are the things that I highly recommend. And those of you who missed Mega Camp and heard how amazing it was, which it was, and would like to be able to go back and watch all of that, you actually can still do that, and you can register. So you can actually go to megacamp.kw.com, register to basically get your own portal to go in and watch all of the content. And you can do that. Again, it will be available through November 15th. So you can certainly do that and start to go in and watch if you missed it. If you already have a portal, a reminder, that's megacamp2020.com, and then you go to log in and you'll be able to see. I just went in today to see that the content was there and the interviews were there, so I was able to click around and see what I could look at. So again, the two things I would highly recommend is Gary Keller's Market Update and Josh Team's interviews with Google and Facebook. And then we have some notes and takeaways from that I wanted to share with you. And I also wanted to let you know that we will be having a Golden Nuggets panel for those of you who attended. We are looking at potentially, Cheryl's going to send out the email, we're looking at potentially next Friday afternoon, the 9th of October, which is the same day that Wendy's reverse mortgage class is. Hers is in the morning though. So you'll be getting an email about that, whether you attend, if you attended it, we're going to ask you to share some of your top takeaways. And if you did not attend it, come to that so you can hear what some of those top takeaways and the implementation action items are. So just a couple of general notes I wanted to share that we talked a little bit about on Wednesday is in regard to Gary's Market Update regarding unemployment and answering the question why the real estate market is booming in the country today, given the economic climate, and the main reason being that, you know, one of the reasons the real estate industry hasn't been incredibly effective is because those who make the most amount of money have been affected the least and that have the most disposable income. And, you know, especially in luxury markets, we're seeing a lot more movement because of that. These people have liquidity, or they want to be more liquid. They want to take their money out of something, and then they're going to put some of it into a real estate purchase. He did say that eventually this will even out if it's unattended. So there's a big gap between the people that were least affected and the people that were most affected, and the unemployment rates across the board. Obviously, travel, hospitality, leisure is highly affected, and those people have the highest unemployment rates, upwards of 20%, whereas the financial services industry is 4%. So there is a big gap there. This is why we're seeing this odd behavior. And we do expect, obviously, if we open up Maui, we all know, and we've all been feeling that there's a pent-up demand for buyers who want to buy here. Inventory is still tight. Can't stress enough, go out and get listings, because if you do, you can make all the money you want to make for the next 2 years in this high season. So go get some listings. Okay, so that was a very brief nutshell of what he talked about. Also, he talked about age ranges, and the people who are 35 and above are the least affected by what's also going on in terms of unemployment. Those who are 24 and under are most affected. And who typically are those? I mean, a lot of the people who tend to be younger correlate to being our first-time home buyers. So that's probably a market that we see some challenges in right now, that combined with our big focus on hospitality, on the hospitality industry here. He also mentioned, and he also put a disclaimer out there, like all of the statistics are not meant by any means to demean the tragedy of everything that's going on. It's really to give us some perspective about what's happening, right? To make some sense of that in a statistical way. He did mention, and I think this is important to start to look at, is that you may see more bridge loans come into play. That may become a possible solution where people want to sell, but they haven't identified or found anything to buy yet because of the lack of inventory. You also may see more seller financing pop up for that reason as well, and creative solutions to be able to have somebody be able to sell and then be able to find something. You might see leasebacks. Pay attention to our economic indicators in our local market as well as nationally. So obviously unemployment, housing, those are all important things to look at. He said we need to be acting like the market we're moving towards, not the one we're in. So pay attention. This is another reason we study these things, so that we can really look at where the market at the moment is, how we can best serve clients and benefit from the opportunity. He said, even if you're going backwards, yet you're making the best business decisions for yourself right now, you will have forward movement eventually. It may not be immediate. Successful people are playing an internal game of mastery right now. So keep working towards mastery. Okay, excellence, learning. Keith Cunningham said something. This is a great question. You don't need to answer at this moment. It's a good thing for you to think about, which is, he said, if I gave you the opportunity to unwind any 3 financial decisions you've ever made, how much money would you have? So it's a way to really look at what were the financial decisions that I made that were, he used the word dumb, maybe some things that we might have changed, so mistakes that we would have made, and we can learn from those things. And things that can cause those decisions to be made, which I thought was really interesting, was excessive optimism, and ignoring risk. And there was one other thing that I don't remember exactly, but it was, so just pay attention to those things as you move through the changes and what's happening right now economically. Still looking at your expenses, making sure you're maximizing that, playing red light, green light, paying attention to where your return on investments are paying off, especially if you're changing some of the strategies that you're using in your business. Hold those accountable, hold those changes accountable, and monitor that. Any other takeaways, Mega Camp, anybody wants to share today? I'm going to ask you in the Golden Nuggets panel. Does anybody have a big one that they got that they want to share with the group?
Hi, it's Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Aloha, everyone from the West Side. A number of 800 million people watch live video on Instagram and Facebook every day. That just blew me away. What a number.
Yeah, that was huge, right? Where you look at the opportunity with video, 800 million people watching. I think she said, yeah, like live Facebook feeds and Instagram. So if you're not on there, it's a missed opportunity for sure. Not that everybody's great at it. I'm not saying you have to do it. It's just that's where people are looking right now, and it turns into the marketplace. Goes from social media to marketplace. That's a good one. Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else? Jess.
Hey, so on the last day, Jay Papasan had an interview, and one of the things he said was go get smaller to go big. Really narrowing down your one thing that you're making the most money with, and then making that your number one priority, and then 2 and 3 as your follow-up. And don't always think you have to do hours and hours and hours of all these different things. Just focus on the one thing, and you can chunk it down, like you know, a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours in the afternoon. So get smaller to go big.
That's great. Get smaller to go big. Yeah, and it's not always the fun stuff, right? The small things. It can be monotonous. It can be boring. It can be just this repetition that's not super sexy or fun. You know, that's not the most fun part about real estate, although doing those things allow you to do everything else.
You're going to be doing things that other people don't do, so you can do the things that other people don't do.
Love it. So. Thank you, guys. That's great, Jess. Thank you. Okay, let's celebrate some of our cappers from the last meeting to this meeting. Congratulations, Joyce Mitchell, Manar.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jeannie. Congratulations to Lee and Sherry and Carrie. So woo woo, yay. Always super, super fun to hit that cap. Great. Let me know if I missed anybody that we didn't celebrate, and I'll make sure we get you in here. Congratulations on those who had their first closings with us: Ashley Rivera, Leola, Augustine, and Kehal Gomes. Congratulations on first listings: Ashley, Karen, Matt, Dave, and Janice. So all of you guys, congratulations. Very exciting as well. Oh, reminder, first listings. So Hannah, who is our marketing gal, Aloha Real Estate Solutions, she is available to help you promote your listing. So when you take a listing, we'll do listing packages for you. Hannah will. And that is like, I don't have the package in front of me, but it's an email blast to your database, a flyer, email blast to, she can do the email blast to RAM. Anyway, there's a whole listing package to promote your listing. So that's Aloha Real Estate Solutions. Cheryl, if you want to type in the email that they can send that to. I know Hannah was working on a site where they can just place their order online to make it easier, but we can just put her email in the chat box in the meantime. And by the way, that service is free to you if you're Keller Williams Realty Maui agents. We pay for that for you. And Honolulu's they charge Honolulu, so you guys get it for free because I said so. You're welcome. Okay. Highest closed volume in August, Dean Otto. Congratulations, Dean. The Maui team. Congratulations. That's Mark and Andy. Kristen, congratulations to the 808 team, Todd's team. And Dylan, if he's still on the call. So that's super exciting. Great job, you guys. Top individuals, Joanne had 9 listings taken and 12 written units. A super busy, active month. I know I was talking to Joanne. She was super busy, which was great. Sam Schaus closed 7. That's awesome. And then 2 listings sold, a tie between Bruce, Dean, and Sam. So great job, you guys. Top individuals for August. Dean just had a killer month. And he said to just wait because we think September is going to be better. So reach out to him and find out what he's been doing. That's working really well. But look at this: listings taken volume, written volume, and listings sold, and then also GCI. He also ended up finishing number, I think it was 4 in our whole region for Northern California and Hawaii in August with that volume. Top team.
Great job, everyone.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Top teams, the buy and sell Maui team, Dave and Janice, the Maui team. So Dave and Janice were listings taken volume and units. Maui team is closed units, listings sold volume, sold units, which was a tie with the Carter team, and GCI. 9 times network. Woohoo, you guys on the call. Written volume. Congratulations for being on the board. That's super exciting. And Robin and Mark, Carletti and Sukol team, written units, and then the Carter team tied for listings sold units. So very, very good work, you guys. And then top groups, Vacation Maui team, which is Kevin's team, Kevin Space and Luke and Star. And then Aloha Group Maui, congratulations to you guys. A lot of those cappers, listings taken units. And then the 808 team in written volume and units, closed volume and units, listings sold volume and units, and GCI. They are rocking again. All right, congratulations to everybody and welcome to the agents who have joined us since our last meeting. Barrett, Crystal, Dimitri, who I saw was on the call. Woohoo! Dimitri is also, I can say also now, a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. So awesome. And
Lisa.
Daryl, thank you. Tim, Melissa, Leah, and then Big Island, Jessica, and Antonita. So welcome everybody, and please reach out with whatever you need. And I'm glad to see some of you on the call.
I caught that side brag.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. You will do that. You call me out on my stuff. Okay. All right. Tech update. So I know Latasha's not on the call today. Robert, let's see. Let me check. I'll make sure Robert's on. Cheryl, is Robert? Do we have Robert?
I don't see him.
I don't see him. I'm not sure what happened. I will give him a call.
Okay, give him a call, text him, we can have him jump on. I'll just share the class stuff. So we talked about bring your own coffee and talk about command. That's every Tuesday and Thursday. You can always schedule the one-on-one appointment. So I'm curious, I mean, one of the reasons that we did this was to really help you guys, give you some more one-on-one, because I know that just taking you through that stuff one-on-one is better for some people than a classroom environment and where you can spend a little more time together. I have heard really good feedback, and I know a lot of you have been able to integrate more of getting your contacts into command, getting your smart plan set up, and using opportunities. And so I just wanted to, you know, like get any feedback or hear that you guys are having those appointments. I know Latasha's on the west side for part of her days. So any additional feedback or comments around that, or anything else that we can do to improve that process, make it easier for you? Setting up the appointments with your tech wizards. Does everybody feel like they have a better level of support and understanding about the platform and how to maximize it for your business than they did maybe 5 months ago?
I took the one, I think it was last week or something like that.
Yep.
And even knowing command fairly well, there was still things I learned on that and stuff that I didn't know. So it's very helpful to get on there, and even if you just sit in the background and kind of watch what they're doing, and then you can always call them later for, you know, for that zero in stuff that you want. Yeah, that I would put that in your time block for sure.
Great. Yeah, that's a good idea, to just time block it in your schedule and make it part of working on your business. It's a great way to time block working on your business rather than in it, or whether you want to do that for an hour a week or a couple hours a week. It's a great thing, or you can just go in and play on your own for, 20 minutes a day. I do want to stress, and I talk about this a lot too, the importance of sharing your mobile app with consumers right now, because, and if it was also reiterated in Mega Camp, and we talked about it on Wednesday where we're talking about Zillow. I mean, this is how your people end up going to other realtors or, not staying in touch with you, is by using other platforms to search for property. Well, guess what? They don't have to do that. They can do it through yours. And ours were blind tested with consumers with Zillow and Realtor.com's app, and ours won. I mean, the blind test, it was tested by Google. I mean, it is top of the line, has artificial intelligence. It keeps your clients sticky to you, not just throughout the whole transaction process, but before and after. So share, the best thing you could do is share that mobile app. You can do it via text, via email. I mean, just get it to your sphere, and anybody that you talk to about real estate, get them to look at it no matter where they live. Okay, and then we talked about Ninja Selling.
And Robert has joined us. He was on the regional call, Lisa. So he
Robert.
us.
Yeah, I know. They do a regional call every Monday.
Little bit of message confusion. I was like, okay. I was sitting there watching the update about Twilio, and I was like, okay. And then I got the call, and I was like, okay, switch over.
Yeah. So can you speak to this slide, which are really the 3 updates, just a general overview, not too in the weeds, because heads will explode.
Yeah.
Like that, though.
Yeah, the email editor went live. There are some basic and templates that are there. And the one thing I wanted to let everybody know about that is the differences with these email templates is you got to make sure that it works for mobile, for tablet, and for desktop. So there are some constraints around setting them up, nested tables, if you know anything about that. And then all of these things can be used with tags in Command by setting up a list. So in email with Command, you can send out 5,000 emails a month, and you can create multiple audiences. With MailChimp, we were able to only send out 2,000 emails a month, and we could only send out one audience at a time, and then you'd have to go back in and delete the audience. So
great.
huge
So this
move
is a big deal now that we don't have to use a different platform to email, that you can do it right in Command. I know that was a challenge before, so that's huge. If they need help, and you're going to do a training class, or is that going to be part of your bring your own coffee and Command?
Yes, BYOCC, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get on that and kind of touch on it a little bit. The next one is the KW app updates. So search alerts. So let's say your client goes in and saves a search. And then they can go in and say, in that saved search, which could be a drawn out complex, if that's their saved search. So let's say we decide Kihei Villages is something we want to be alerted to. So you draw out Kihei Villages, and then you save that as a saved search, and you say, okay, I want alerts on anything that happens in Kihei Villages immediately, daily, or weekly. Once you save that setting, you're going to get an email notification that actually lets you know that something just went live there, or that, something, it's really pretty cool. And I think the next step in that process, because they actually posted it, was a push notification.
Great.
But they had to pull that back off because it wasn't quite ready for prime time yet. So
that's really, just so people understand, I mean, the huge benefit to this is now also not having to go into multiple platforms. We're using Paragon to do your either the save searches through the Collab Center. It can eliminate the use of having to do that, and also the drips, those automatic notifications. You can do that all through the Command platform now. I know it's still, it's relatively new. We're playing with it right now. Just know that is that's huge, you guys, so that you can, again, keep everything in the one place, and they can use your app for that as well.
Here's the cool part about it. You can save searches and do notifications on some places outside of our MLS. So in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or in Florida, they can have alerts set up on their Command app for things outside of our MLS. So,
yeah, because of KWLS, because we have our own MLS system, and it's tied to all the MLSs. So it's a huge advantage, which is a different, I don't know, there anybody else, any other company that can do that. And then Twilio. So you want to talk a little bit about that for texting?
Yeah, Twilio used to have an interesting integration model for us in Command where we'd set up our Twilio account, we'd put in $20. If it got below 10, they'd re-up you to 20. But you got a 514 area code. And now the new integration that we have is also saved us money, put us on a monthly payment plan. So you get a credit-based thing, which translates very similarly over into the other one. It's a little cheaper. But the cool part is, once you're going through that setup, is you can choose an 808 number right in that setup. It takes 24 hours, and then boom, you don't have to worry about dealing with Twilio support. You just come back and you're set up with your 808 number. And then my tip on that is add that second number to your contact card so that when you share your contact card with your clients, once you text them from that number, it comes up associated to you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So yeah, this is the opportunity for you to text again through the platform so that all that stuff gets stored, all that correspondence is noted. And you can also do some mass texting, although you have to be careful about that. We talked about that. And we'll have to talk more about, actually, Michelle, you and I should talk a little bit more about the do not call or text list and how we want to make those more readily available.
Quick tech note, excuse me, on the Twilio integration, the first text that goes out to any of your clients will have an opt-out message on the first text that goes out. So they can say stop and they get removed, or they can say start and it'll put them back in. So that goes out on the very first text message communication to your clients.
That's good to know. Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
And then we talked about BYOCC. We talked about that a couple of times. Michelle, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My comments this morning are the same they've been for the last 2 weeks, which is if you haven't started your CE and there's a significant list of you who have not, please start your continuing education. You should be wrapping that up the end of October so you can begin to renew your licenses in November. And I think this class offered through the company for $10, whether you like the topic or not, you can't get a better value than $10. So I know I'll be taking it. I think the topic is important, reverse mortgages. And then also your Realtors Association of Maui annual dues are due on or before Wednesday, September 30th. We also have a list of people who have not paid those dues yet. So if you haven't and you're having a hardship, please reach out to myself or Lisa so we can talk with you about options that may be available to you. RAM does have a late period. October 1, they fine you $50, and October 15, I think it's $100. And we don't actually remove you from RAM until November, first week in November. But don't let this go. It's going to cost you more money in the long run. And we want to make sure that you both renew your license and renew your RAM dues so that you can start the new year on a solid footing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. I don't see Nicole on right now. She might be on the regional call also. So let's talk a little bit about the regulations and the quarantine and everything that's changing or maybe changing at this point. We think it's changing October 15th. I'm guessing many of you have been in communication, as have I, with people on the mainland, clients or otherwise, that would like to asking you questions about it. So, you know, you can send them to the website, the travel.hawaii.gov site for more information. And then the other thing is, I mean, as far as the conversations to have right now, we just talked about it. It's another great touch for your sphere. Sending out the email if you haven't already done that, posting it on your Facebook page or your business page and saying, hey, you guys, if you haven't heard, this is the situation going on with Hawaii. Please let me know if you have any questions. And then, you know, again, if they're looking at their what are your real estate needs? There's a lot of activity going on. We have a pent up demand for property here. With our inventory situation, just give them information about it and say, how can I help you? What questions can I answer for you? and you will get buyers. I mean, you get buyers, hopefully you get people who want to sell too, but you will certainly get buyers from your sphere or referrals from your sphere by just doing that touch. Has anybody done that yet? Sent the information out to their sphere. Okay, Michelle. Okay, great. Any other questions about that?
Do we know if, let's say they come in on the 14th, do they have to quarantine 2 weeks or they quarantine 1 day?
I believe 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
That
2
is-
weeks.
That is one of those moronic things
You know,
that
you
make
gotta
people
hit that
nuts.
somewhere. I mean, I know people that are
Well,
flying
yeah, it should be the date. It shouldn't be 2 weeks. It should be anything before the 15th. When you come in on the 15th, if that applies, then you get it, you know.
it
Anyway,
depends if they
that's
didn't take it.
that's for
Take the
another
test.
meeting.
Right. But
Keone?
remember, if the whole point is that they take the test, if they don't take the test, then they just fly over here, then they have to be quarantined for 14 days no matter what.
Keone, it's my understanding that if they test pre-travel and they come in on the 14th, they'll be issued an order to quarantine for 14 days, but they can recontact Department of Health on the 15th and then be converted to that process.
Ah,
And they
excellent.
take
Thank you.
Assuming they take the test and it's negative, right?
If
have
they
to
do
take
the
Right.
if they follow the pre-testing protocol and take the proper test, because they're not accepting all, it has to be a specific test, then they can apply to the Department of Health to convert that.
Okay, good. I'll put my
Well-
hair back in.
Let me know how that goes, by the way, and see if there's, let me know. I'd like to
Which
hear.
test is
However,
that?
at this time, they have not lifted the inter-island quarantine.
Right. Yes.
So that remains
They
in
probably won't
place.
do that for a little while to see how it goes to contain from island to island.
So this is flying into from the mainland, but if you land, you're not going to be able to go inter-island without a quarantine.
Right.
What specific test were you referring to? Do you know yet?
It's called the NAAT test.
Thank you.
It's a nuclear amino something test.
Scary
If you
COVID
look
kind
on
of
that site, it's a very specific, more accurate test.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we're almost done, you guys. Agent needs and wants. So what do you guys have as far as buyers that you can't find a property for? What do you have in terms of listings that we may not know about, or something that's coming up in the next couple of days? What do you guys have that you can share where we can put some deals together?
Hi, Jean.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I have a buyer. They're looking for a 3-bedroom. They're open to location, except for not Kihei or West Side or South Side or Hana. And
wait. So central, let's work backwards. Central upcountry.
Yeah. I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah, and they're pre-approved for looking for something around 700, but can go higher. And so that's one. And then I still have my listing in Harbor Lights if anybody has anybody interested. And then I have some vacant land up country, 15 acres listed at 1.2. So.
Okay, great.
Okay,
so
thanks,
3-bedroom
guys.
in central or up country, if anybody has that. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome, Jeannie.
Jeannie?
Yes, I'm listening.
Have your clients looked at cottages at Kulamalu up country? It's not my listing, but there is a listing active, I believe, for 665, 675.
Yeah, I actually called that realtor. Thank you for that. They would prefer no HOAs. I'm pretty sure that one has an HOA.
It does.
Okay, yeah.
It has an HOA.
Yeah, I mean, they're open to it. They would prefer not, but I already have called that realtor. So thank you for the update. I appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up.
Thank you for that. Joyce, did you have something?
Yeah, I've got it's not in the MLS yet, but signed a listing in Hana. It's a really nice one, walking distance to Koki Beach and Hamoa.
Close proximity to.
to Koki Beach and Hamoa. It's
Yeah.
right on, it's on Honey-O Road. That's kind of like Hana's Gold Coast in a way. It's a flag lot, so it's got privacy, yet if you trim the trees, you'll have better ocean view. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath, well, technically, yeah, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story master on the top, but a great downstairs for guests, and a killer kitchen and open concept living space. Almost wraparound lanais that are covered. So that should be coming up by the end of this week in the MLS.
What's the price point?
Just under 1.7.
Okay.
Also another one coming up on Waikoloa on the beach. I think that's going to be under $1 million. It's small and quaint, but it's right on the ocean.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
For you Hana people.
Who else? Anybody else? Anybody have a buyer for Joyce's or for Jeannie's lot? All right. Any other needs or wants? Okay. Who's ready to tell something good?
Okay, I'm going to climb back in. I just went into escrow today on a vacant land that's been on the market for a couple years. So yay on that.
Yay. That feels good. Good job. All right. What else? Somebody else? Michelle?
I want to call out my something good is Lisa Teichner got her black belt this weekend.
Yes, yes.
Woo-hoo!
And more important than getting the black belt, I think it just stands to lead by example that it's easy for our real estate and our business to be self-consuming, and we need to not allow it to be. We need to take time for self-care, other interests, and I also want to call out Jeannie Vance and Robert Eikenberry, who both have been focusing on health and working out, and I've seen a dramatic change in the both of them just in like 2 months. So I don't know what you're doing or how long you've been doing it, but I noticed in your picture and Robert's the other day, I was like, wow, they're looking good, they're toned, they're fit. So all three of you, great job at leading the way.
Thank you, Michelle. Awesome. Thank you. All right, you guys. Thank you, Dimitri.
The surf is up. That's something good.
Yeah, surf's up. Okay. So are we going now? Is that what we're going to do?
3 o'clock, actually.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of the day and week. And you're awesome. Thanks for being here. Take care.
Aloha, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.
Aloha.